You're tuned in to RX Radio.
Yes, is that how we're going to start?
Yeah, now we'll
start with that. Okay. every coach should know how many sessions a week they're doing. So if you don't have a spreadsheet, go into Excel or go into Sheets and make a spreadsheet. How many sessions per week do you do? What do you charge for those sessions? You can easily make a formula at the bottom that will tell you what your dollar per hour is. Like, that's a pretty basic start. There's kind of like two categories, right? Maybe we'll find something in between, but like I talk to a lot of like friends and coaches who are very overextended. They're doing like 50 sessions per week or 60 sessions per week, like an ungodly amount of work. And then like they're like, oh, like I can't raise my rates. People won't pay that. I'm like, yeah, they will. Like somebody that pays you 70 an hour will sure as shit pay you 80 an hour.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going from like 70 to 150, that's a different story. But at some point, the extra money that you're taking in for gaining a new client when you're already doing, 50 hours of work a week is not going to be worth it, because then you can't work on anything else. You don't have free time to do anything that's going to make you, other sources of income or help you grow your business or even make your business more efficient.
Yeah. The thing I think too, when you're raising rates on clients, is if your services are good enough that you're booked 50 to 60 hours a week, every time you raise your rates, there might be some fall off, but that percentage is probably proportionately going to be less than the amount that you're raising your rates. So not only will you be working less if there is fall off, but you'll be making more. So that's like the first step in starting to buy your time back.
Yeah, and I think too is even a conversation outside of raising rates on your current clients, but it's just like if you're continually getting more inquiries and you're already busy, don't take on a new client. Like I said, know what your average dollar per hour is. Whatever your largest pack of sessions is, like that should be whatever that number is. It should not be any lower. At no point should that number go down if you're already that busy.
Yeah.
So just, if you have a new client, like charge them more. If they can't afford it, then you can't afford to take them on because you don't have time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I love it. That's the perfect rationale. And that's kind of how I am. Like before we hit record, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RX Radio. I'm here with Nick Ridpath again. And apparently we're talking training business. But before we hit record, like we were kind of talking about, getting into a place where you can actually start to decline work or like not work with clients you don't want to work with. And that's absolutely a luxury. And I've even gotten to the place in my business where like if I have clients that I like working with, and even if I'm raising my rates, I'll just kind of grandfather them in and I'll leave them at the rates that they're at for longer than I might have if they weren't a client that I wanted to keep and I enjoyed working with. It's like that's the mutual kind of like spoken or unspoken agreement. It's like, hey, like you stick around, I'll take care of you both ways, as opposed to like, if you're raising your rates and there's someone's a fucking pain in your ass, like, all right, everyone's getting a rate raise because it's my patients are running thinner and thinner and it costs more and more to get me to train you. And it's, the good thing is like the longer you're in this, the less of those clients that you'll have, because you'll just have more clients that you retain that you two resonate with each other and you're a good personality fit. And that's kind of, those people are going to stick around. The people that are not a good personality fit for you, they're going to like fall off at some point, or maybe they go on a vacation or they get busy and they just never kind of re-sign or re-up or come back. And like everyone's kind of okay with that, because it was a lot more mental energy to get ready for that person than the person before.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also a great point is kind of like what you're alluding to is if you have your own business, especially, you can do whatever you want to.
Yes.
Like you can raise your rates on current clients. You can raise your rate on specific clients if you want to. For new clients, like we're just giving out some ideas here, but.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the big thing. Like if your hands are tied by, some corporate job or something, like, I don't know, you can only do what you can do. But yeah, if you're working for yourself, that's where you get so much freedom to do this shit. And like, I've had clients that like, before I take anyone on, I'll typically do either a call or we'll meet for like 30 minutes and just talk just to see if it is a good personality fit. And then our first session together is kind of an assessment. It's more of a, like you're going to move, but it's more so for me to gather information of like what we need to work on. And then after that comes a training agreement. So it's like kind of like a filtering process. It's like, all right, are you cool? Like, all right, what can I help you with? How can I help you with it? And like, can I get that buy-in? And then after that, then we start the training agreement. So it's not like you just sign up for a package. And like, I guess I'm lucky that I'm in that position that I don't have a ton of hours to fill. So it's like I can go through this. But like there's a sliding scale there of like how well do our personalities mesh together? Like if this is someone that's like super sick, I enjoy spending time with, and they're like easy to get along with, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like whatever I can do to help you, I'm going to help you. But if it's someone that's like, oh, fuck, man, I would rather pull out my 2 front teeth than spend an hour with this person a week. First off, I'm not going to work with you. But if there is, some case where I am going to take that person on, say like the second part of that is the assessment is like they really need help and no one else is able to give them help, even though they're just a terrible person I don't want to be around. There's some sort of obligation to me helping them because if it is a situation where I can help them and they haven't been able to find that somewhere else, I'm still going to help them. But the thing is, they're going to pay a premium for it. Like I'm going to make a subject, and I don't have training prices on my website. Like everything else has a price besides training because I might charge you more if you fucking suck. And it's as simple as that.
I think it's fair. I think that's a luxury. I think honestly in 5 minutes, we just summed up what to do if you're busy. If you're already a busy coach, here's how you can progress your business or better manage your business.
Right.
Know how much work you do. Know your dollar per hour. It's a luxury, right? If you want to take on new clients, you can choose who you want to. Yeah. You don't have to say yes to everybody, right? I know it's like you kind of get busy on a scarcity mindset, or like you say yes to everything, which probably we can get into next. Is like if you're not busy, how can we scale our business? Because it's probably going to involve saying yes to all these assholes you just described.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, yeah, before you get to this place, you need to fucking get busy. Like that's non-negotiable. Like you need to work yourself into the ground to the point where it's like, all right, like I have 50, 60 clients at $70 an hour. Like I need less clients and I need more money. How do I do that? I raise my rates. Like it has to be a natural progression. And I guess kind of the word for this in like startup culture or like business is you need proof of concept, right? You need to prove to yourself and to generally the market of people that are looking for a trainer that you're a better option than the 4 other trainers in your gym or the 8 other trainers at the gym down the street. Like there needs to be proof of concept that this is something that you have an affinity for and people have affinity for you in that niche. So that's number one. Like you have to belong in the industry before you can be successful in the industry. And then once you have that, then yes, you have to get busy. You just need experience. And that's the thing. That's the thing that's going to make you, that's the thing that's going to allow you to justify raising your prices, is because there's a bunch of idiots in the industry that are like, I don't know, in their like 50s and they're old as shit. They're not in shape anymore. And they stand on like the fact that they've been a trainer for like 35 years. It's like, all right, but like you're still doing the same shit you were 35 years ago. There's been no progression here. So it's like yes, experience matters, but there needs to be progress in that time in which you're doing the thing that you're doing. And that's the thing that's going to allow you to raise your rates and buy back your time, is getting better at the thing that you're doing, getting better at your trade. All right, that's what makes you more valuable, because I can tell you guaranteed for a fact that I can get someone results faster right now than I could 10 years ago when I was just a few years into training. So that is a very easy way to justify charging more. It's like, oh, I'll get you the same progress in less time, or I'll get you to feel better in less time, or we'll heal this injury in less time. Because that's all this is. We're exchanging time for money. So even if, like, say the dollar amount that someone's going to spend with a trainer to get the result is the same, is maybe someone's going to pay, I don't know, $2,000 to get them to lose 20 pounds, generally. If one trainer can do that over the course of 20 weeks and another can over 12 weeks, then that's a higher dollar per hour for the 12. It's the same amount of dollars, it's just less time, right? So it averages out to a higher amount of dollars per hour for the one that gets it done in 12 versus 20, right? And that's a very easy, simple formula to be like, okay, I'm worth more per hour than this guy because I'll get you results faster. And you need to get to that point of mastery before this conversation even really matters.
Sorry, the entire time your weight loss example, I was just trying to bake in an Ozempic joke somewhere.
Ooh, yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of those.
But no, I think there's like two bookends of the spectrum of what you just described. There's a guy that's like, I've been doing this for 35 years. And it's like, yeah, you're doing the same thing you were doing 34 years ago, right? And then there's also like the classic kid who's like experiences taking an online anatomy course and then like putting IG content up, holding a fucking anatomy skeleton. And it's like, you don't have any experience. Your experience is you took a course and now you're just making content about the course.
Yeah.
You're stealing someone else's intellectual property and you have no experience actually dealing with human beings, which is what coaching is. So don't be either of those guys.
No.
Maybe we can talk about like how to qualify our experience, how to actually see progress.
Yeah. Let's do it. Dive in, man.
I mean, like for myself, part of it was one, like find people in your arena that you like, they're where you want to be in the future, right? Like surround yourself with good mentors, good peers who can help you out. And then my thing was just like say yes to everything. Like one, put yourself in an environment where you can, get hands-on with a variety of people. So like the opposite of finding a niche, like just get as much experience as you can. That's gonna help you expedite solving problems for more people, which will increase your ability to charge more money for your time because you have a greater skill set. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the biggest thing is just like get in a position where you can say yes a lot and get a lot of experience very fast. And then if you're not confident saying yes to certain things, try to surround yourself with certain people who can help you work through those things. Yeah. So it's like, okay, even if I am not fully confident on this, I know somebody who will be and that can help guide me through this. And then you're going to build your own skill set, right? So kind of just outsourcing that to your peers.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I totally agree. I think kind of from that is putting yourself in a position where you can fail with low repercussions, right? That's like you're saying, surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you, that have more experience, that are doing the thing that you want to be doing that you're not doing yet. Is if you can surround yourself with them and like, there's such a bad like connotation around this is like a mentorship nowadays because of how it's been bastardized to the online space of kind of like you said, these Gen Z people with no experience that go on YouTube and just kind of rip everyone else's content and try and sell that as wisdom. But like an actual like mentor-mentee relationship or like something where you're an actual intern, where you're working and you're learning. And that's the thing is like everyone wants to skip to the front of the line now because training on the internet, it's more about how many followers do you have or how many views can you get as opposed to like actually getting fucking results, which is like, it's if you have a lot of eyeballs on you, you can afford to have high turnover. If you don't, then you can't afford that because you have to be good at your job to make money, to eat and have a roof over your head. So I think that's one of the big things is like, you're not going to get that online. You're not going to get experience online. You will be able to network online. And I think that's another part of this conversation that is extremely valuable is like building a network of people that you respect and you look up to and are very knowledgeable that you can reach out to help you solve problems or to ask questions about things that you don't know, or people that have expertise in areas that are maybe parallel but outside of your realm. I think that's very important. I think social media and the internet is great for that, but the internet is not great for getting experience training people.
No, it's not.
Because you can't fucking train someone on the internet. You can't do, what, are you going to set up a Zoom call and, I don't know, fucking text message while they do their dumbbell curls? Like, that's not training someone. Training someone is, yes, the interaction. It's the constant assessment, the constant understanding of like, all right, this is what's going on with them. How can I pivot? How can I adjust? It's different than writing a program. It's different than, video analysis. Video analysis still isn't training someone. It can be an effective way to get someone progress, but it's just a piece of the puzzle, right? And I think that there is like, there's both sides to that. In person, sometimes it's good to take a video in person so that you can slow things down and like show people things that they might not see in the mirror on their own. Like, great. Yeah. But if a video is all that you have to gauge someone's progress, like it's not the same as being in person and being able to communicate real time, make changes. Cause like, all right, I look at a video of you, I'm going to tell you maybe 2 or 3 things, a day or two after your workout, and then you're going to wait another 5 days before you implement them. Like it's just not an effective, efficient way to make change. So that's the thing about in-person training and in-person interning, in-person mentoring, in-person work, that you're going to get so much more experience at such a faster rate, because an interaction that might have taken 7 days time online is happening within seconds from set to set. Is you can have, over the course of 3 sets, you can have 7 of those interactions with someone. So it's like you're refining the communication, you're refining your eye, you're allowing yourself to get better at this really quickly. And that's why it's like, all right, this is the beginning. We're still in the beginning stage of this before you get to the point where you have granted yourself the opportunity to grow your online business. Is you need the hard skills. You need to understand, what it's like to be able to make these corrections from rep to rep, set to set. And then the more experience you get doing that, and it's gonna, I mentioned like failing in a safe atmosphere. That's a safe atmosphere to fail in, because if I tell you something that's ineffective, I'll just tell you something different on the next set or the next rep or whatever it is. And you can go through and you can kind of figure out within one session with someone the things that are going to resonate with them, the things that aren't, as opposed to the course of, days, weeks, months with someone online. And that's the stuff that's going to make it so that, like, okay, you have experience of 40 hours a week, we'll say, of training clients for, 2 years. That's a lot of fucking experience. That's a lot of trial and error, that now you at least have a base understanding of what someone needs to hear before they even do an exercise. So if I'm going to write an online program for you, I'm going to tell you what exercise it is, and I'm going to tell you the things that you're going to do wrong before you even do them, or the things that I want you to do right before you're allowed to do them wrong. And that's what I mean by building experience in this. And this is the stuff that, like, you can't get those reps online. You can't get them in any other way than in face-to-face training.
Yeah, I think there's 2 valuable points there. The first one, I think we haven't recorded yet when I started talking about the polls I've been posting. Basically, I've been posting like before and after with like some form corrections, or like side by sides of like a client has like one shoulder that hurts, one that doesn't, and I'm like, pick which side is wrong, right? And I'm like, tell me why too. So I've been getting a ton of really good replies from coaches, like explaining why, and they hit the nail on the head. Then they're like, here's what I would do to fix it. And that's like A1 this, A2 this, A3 this. And they're like, what did you do? And I'm like, I literally just told them to stop doing that. I told them to shift more weight on their front leg, or like get their ribs down, or like, yeah, I fixed it in like probably 1 set, like you mentioned. So like, I think when we're kind of stuck in the online space, we're like, oh, and maybe we're partially to blame for this because we're, coaching this sort of stuff or teaching this sort of stuff online. But like, when you get hands-on, you can figure out very quickly how to make progress way faster, like set to set, just with like improving awareness. Like, hey, you were doing this on the last set, get your weight here, change your body this way, change your arm path, whatever it is, and we can get results within, a set or 2. If not, week to week at the latest. But like, we can make progress so much faster by just coaching. It doesn't have to always be, mobility, stability, or exercise order. It can just be coaching better. I think the other thing too, you kind of hit on was like, at the least, like getting more reps in person will give us a better idea of like what we can expect people to do. We can start to kind of create like heuristics of like, people are generally going to be in like one of 2 categories. So if we see one thing, it might suggest this thing. We can try to give a solution to implement to fix that. And if we get more of that experience in person, we can be a better online coach as well, because we kind of know how to use these heuristics to guide our decision making better.
Yeah,
but they're created in person.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's so funny that you made that point about like, I just told them to stop doing that. It's
like an asshole. I'm not trying to flame them, but like I'm kind of am like flaming people. Right. So I'm like, they give really good answers, right? And it's like, that's probably where I would go, but we did fix it simply by doing this. So like, I would rather take that approach and use the simplest solution, because like we're saying, like $1 per your time, like if you get a solution faster, like people are going to pay more for that. So I'd rather just, use a cue or use a mirror or, do something to improve awareness and fix it right away, as opposed to like, okay, we're going to go over to the cable stack and try this first, which is like stuff I do all the time, but like that's step 2, not step 1.
Yeah. No, I love that so much. And that highlights the difference between theory and application, right? That's exactly what that is. That's someone that operates in the realm of exercise theory, but they don't have any real, I mean, maybe they have experience and maybe they're, they are very good at what they're doing. And what they would do is maybe just what you're saying, but also at the same time, it's probably someone that just doesn't have much experience with this. So they're only thinking in the realm of the experience that they do have, which is like, all right, let me paint this picture. It's how I'm sure there's a ton of online coaches here. They do their check-in with their client. Their check-in says, oh yeah, my knee felt weird this week. And the client has no fucking idea of what's going on with their knee. So they can't really tell the coach what the fuck's going on with their knee. The coach wasn't there when it happened. So maybe they ask some questions. They get, a vague idea that their knee feels bad. Sick. So what are they going to do? All right, let's change your program next week. We're going to do this and we're going to do 30-second yielding isometrics with a cat cow and a reverse breath hold and whatever the fuck that these coaches are going to tell them to do. Sick. All right, they do this. My knee feels weird. I don't know. And it's like this ongoing thing of like, oh, what else needs to change? What else needs to change? When if you're in person with someone, you can intervene in that second. You're like, okay, like, does it hurt? Like, no, I don't know. It just feels different. I'm like, all right, what if we do another set? Like, oh yeah, I guess it's fine. Like, all right, nothing needs to change. Right? It's people feel a lot of things and they don't know how to communicate them sometimes. And not everything needs intervention. Sometimes like just shut the fuck up and do the thing you were going to do. Like, yeah, your quads are going to burn because we're doing lunges. So shut the fuck up and let your quads burn and go home and eat some protein. Like it's
classic, like quad extension. Start grabbing like their quads. Like, what's wrong? It burns.
Yeah.
What am I here for? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
of course it burns.
Like, yeah, it fucking burns. Like, what? Oh my God. But there's so many like valuable points to be taken from that. Cause it's like, try to teach someone to brace their core over like a text message, over a voice note versus in person. Like, I'll just poke you in the stomach until you tense your muscles. We did the same thing. It took you 14 paragraphs and it took me my index finger. Right? So it's like some of these changes, like, yes, it is good to think of it on the level. And that's one of the things that I'm not just talking shit on online coaching, but the thing that I've learned with the online coaching I've done is how to be more concise with my words, right? I learned how to turn an index finger into someone's obliques into a, pointed 3 sentences of what they need to do to figure out how to brace their core. Like it works both ways, but I don't think you're able to fully refine that skill of verbalizing something if you don't have that in-person touch point, right? That face-to-face touch point. That makes it so much easier to be like, all right, why did I poke him? Okay, I wanted him to tense this muscle. Can I just tell him to poke himself? Like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking do that. Like put your hands into your stomach and then push out with your stomach muscles. That's core bracing. Sick. We learned it. We did it. But if I don't have that reference point of, oh, like I could just poke them, it'll do it. Then I have to figure out, with the context of like, oh, fuck, like how do I get someone to understand what proprioception is over a text message? So it does go both ways. And there is a benefit to be had from both of these, but I do think there is an order to the way it has that it has to go. And I think there's so much that you get from being in person with someone that takes so much guesswork out of it when you're not in person with someone. And that's like, another, I like where this conversation is going, but like another point that I'll make is the people that I work with online, at this point, every single one of them is someone that I've worked with in person for a period of time, right? So it's someone that I was able to build, an athlete coach dialogue with, is that when I say this, it means that, which is like, yes, it's especially, people in the Prescript community, everyone's very caught up on the language. And I think it is important. But the caveat to that is every coach is going to have different language and a different vernacular and different jargon around what they do. Like you and me probably say different things to our client, even though we mean similar things. And I'm sure neither of them is wrong, but we're going to say it in a different way. And that's like that's a communication that I like to build with the client. It's the same thing. Like, now me poking them with one finger is me saying core. Like I've just replaced this with one word, right? And they know exactly what I mean when I say that. So it's like you can build that communication, you can build that relationship with them in person. But then at the same time there's an understanding of what they need to execute on. In-person training is education, right? In most cases, there's going to be people that, they just want to sit on the leg extension and then they get really confused when their legs hurt for no reason. Like, why did this happen? And those people, they're probably not going to get much education out of the session. But once you get to that point where you can more select your clientele and you have people that you enjoy working with and you have people that it is a good dialogue, like they should be pretty engaged in the process, especially if they're with you for a period of time. Like if someone trains with you for a year, maybe you can go through a year and they're just as dumb as when they started, but probably not. Probably somehow they're going to residually learn something, even if they don't want to, right? So they're going to build that knowledge base so that then they're better equipped to train online because they have an understanding of what all of these things are that they've been doing. And once you've trained someone for a period of time, then it becomes much, much easier to just give them a list of things to do and them execute well on those things because you've already taken care of all the things that they were doing wrong. And that's like, to me, how this should progress is like, if you want to grow your business as a trainer, first you have to prove to yourself that you belong as a trainer and you're good at a trainer, and you have to make yourself busy in person. Then you have to get frustrated enough to want to buy your time back. Then you have to ask people for more money so that you have less clients that pay you more because you're good at your job. And from there, then you have to get out of or distance yourself from in person, right? We were just talking about this before we started recordings, that there has to be a point where you step away and you can still make money if you're not in the gym telling someone to brace their core or poking them in the stomach, right? And that's like the next evolution of business, which it sounds like you're really doubling down on right now. So why don't you tell me how that's been for you and how that transition looks?
Yeah. So I was just thinking too, just before I talk about myself, which I hate doing, I just want to add to what you're saying, which like not only from an online coaching perspective is having that in-person touch point with that client first going to be helpful for the quality of service you provide and the results they get, but like it's also just a more sustainable model for especially a lot of the coaches that we work with for them building an online business. Like you don't have to have a large Instagram following or social media following. If you do a large volume of in-person clients, you can transition them online.
Yeah.
Over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 years, like you should be able to start to build an online business just based off of clients that train with you for a bit, and like maybe they didn't want to have the long-term like financial commitment, but they want to train on their own. They trust you and they like your programming, and or maybe they move. Whatever it is, it's like we can start to build a system where we can funnel them into an online business. And then now we've had that in-person touch point as well. Mm-hmm. So now like they know our language, we know them well, we know their strengths and weaknesses and whatever bullshit they carry with them, and we can coach them better. So like we're going to have clients that get better results online, and we're also going to have a system of building an online business without being dependent on posting on social media all the time or building a social media following.
Yeah absolutely. It's such a good point. It's so sustainable too. That's the best way to buy your time back, because now you take someone that, say someone's training with you 3 times a week, that's 3 hours a week that you're spending with them, 12 hours a month, plus whatever time there is on either end for like programming or like admin shit with that. And you put them online, and maybe you can manage them in, I don't know, if you're efficient, 30 minutes out of the month, like an hour out of the month. So that's like, okay, you're trading 12 hours for one. And yeah, the price point's not going to be the same. But the thing about online coaching is that you're probably charging a higher dollar per hour rate than you would be in person, right? If you're charging $70, $80 in person, yes, maybe you're making, I don't know, 12, what's that, 800, 160, 960 a month for 12 sessions off that person. Maybe you charge them $300 a month online, right? But for a 12th of the work, right? That math works out really well in your favor. Yeah, exactly. So then you just bring on a new client in person at a higher dollar per hour rate, and you do the process again.
Yeah, that's we should just end the podcast there.
All right. Fuck you guys, we're out.
No.
Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great way to look at it. That's basically what I'm currently doing, you know?
Yeah.
If we want to get into that. I don't even know how to get into that. I'm just posting on social media more. Like, because I already have, you know, I've been doing online coaching for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I just never made a huge attempt to push for it because I wanted to prioritize my in-person work, and like the idea of sitting in a coffee shop all week long makes me want to kill myself. So I never want that for myself.
Yeah.
But like, especially with all the stuff we do, you know, like down in Tampa, and you know, I'm doing more work with like my own personal athletes as well. And like, I just want to have more flexibility to, you know, do cool stuff with them as opposed to being like, you know, tied down working 50 sessions a week in the gym every month for years on end. So yeah, just making a bit of a push to like market myself better and create like social media content that's more digestible for people that I'm trying to market towards, which I guess is like another conversation we could get into, and something a conversation I've been having with other coaches a lot in the past couple of weeks is like there's always like the thing of like know exactly who you're speaking to when you make a post. Like pick that one person, and I don't think that's always like the best way to look at it. Because whenever I heard that, I was like, that's so cringy to me. I don't want to sit down and like pick one person. But I think if we went through like our client roster, we could easily, you know, create groups of people. Like maybe we have 3 different groups. We have like aging gen pop. We have, I don't know, people dealing with injuries, and then we have like people that want to get jacked or shredded or lose weight. You know, like whatever that is. And we could probably create some overlap between those two as far as like, you know, topics go. And now like when we create a topic, we just know exactly which of those groups that we're talking to. You know, maybe it is the longevity crowd. Maybe it is the weight loss crowd. Maybe it's, you know, like functional movement, which is something that could apply to, you know, bodybuilders who are in pain, old people who are in pain, or young people who are in pain, or long, you know, whatever you look at it, you know. And we can create subgroups and then overlap, and then like we could probably pretty easily start to think about what kind of questions they start to ask us throughout the week or throughout the month, and create topics to discuss. And you're nodding your head because I'm sure it's exactly kind of how you think about it as well when you're like creating topics. It's what do I get asked the most, and then it's okay, now who am I talking to? It isn't necessarily that specific person, but it's like if we have one client, we probably have like 3 or 4 more clients that are very similar to them, and now that's like a group of people that are going to probably be, you know, drawn to the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it in almost the exact same way. And it is like, sometimes it is talking to one person, but it's not like, you know, I'm talking to you, Nick Ridpath. I'm talking to a mentality that I see commonly in a lot of people that I probably have one person present in my mind as it comes to. And it makes it easier to have that conversation. I think if it's like, all right, this is one of my athletes that keeps coming in, and I've had this problem with like gen pop weightlifters since day one. It's the people that just go fucking hard on everything that they do, and they lift hard as fuck, and they're super bought in, and they eat 1,000,000 grams of protein in the day, and then the weekend comes around, they drink 1,000,000 fucking beers because they go hard on everything that they do, and then they come in on Monday and they go hard as fuck, and they get hurt, or like they don't perform that they want to, and it's like, yeah, I've seen this person on repeat. Like I've seen this person 100 different times, and it's like, I'm going to talk to the mentality of this person because I know I'm going to see this person again. And like the majority of the things that are meaningful enough for me to sit down in front of a camera in my office alone and talk to the camera like a fucking idiot, and then put on the internet like a fucking idiot. If it's that meaningful for me to do, like it's something that has frustrated me enough that I don't want to have this conversation face to face with another person. So I want to say it to all of the people that are that person at once. And that's like, for me, where it comes from is like, I know I'm going to have this conversation 100 times. So I'm just going to have it this one time and then send it to this person next time. And it's like, that's like a very specific example, but like a more general example that's like more productive, I guess, is like, you have 2 shoulders as far as I can tell. I have 2 shoulders. Like most people have 2 shoulders, 2 hips, a spine, a scapula, 2 scapulas. Like there's common things that I'm going to see. And like, I have enough experience at this point where like everyone that comes in with back pain, before they're done telling me about their back pain, I probably know why they have it, right? So it's like, okay, like I'm seeing this person for the 1000th time in my career. I'm just going to speak to this idea, like this root cause. It's like, because I can see it coming in now from their perspective, their mentality, like, oh, hey, like, do you get back pain after long weeks at work? Let me tell you why. Because this is what's happening with your back when you sit and you stress and you don't eat and you don't move and you don't exercise. So here is how you can fix that back pain. Like if you can talk to someone because you understand the problem that they're having, and it's going to feel very personal to them, even if it is just a very general thing. It's like, oh yeah, how did internet guy know I have back pain because I sit down at work a lot and I don't move ever? It's like, because there's no fucking way you wouldn't. That's how. So it's
Right.
like, for me, it's not necessarily like speaking to one person, but it's like there's a commonality in ideas, there's a commonality in problems, and like that's, high level when people talk business. That's why people give other people money, is to solve a problem, right? Like I want a cheeseburger. McDonald's can solve that problem. I'll give you my money. Like I'm fat because I ate too many cheeseburgers. Nick Ridpath can solve that problem. I'll give you my money. Like that's all it really is. So if you can show people that you can relate to them and you can solve their problems, like that's how you get an interested and engaged audience, whether that's in person, whether that's on the internet. And it really comes from providing value, right? I think there's a lot of people that get, we'll call it recognition. Because I don't know if air quotes, if you're listening in. If you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube and you can see Nick Ridpath's handsome face. But I'll call it, in air quotes, recognition for more of an entertainment value. Like people get pseudo credibility in these industries for like, making entertaining content that is maybe borderline educational, but like the real value to it is that it's entertainment. It's not educational. And that's where a lot of this stuff lives on the internet. So I don't know. I try to stay out of that side of the internet and make it more valuable, relatable content. But
You mean like you don't post memes as your source of education?
I try
Really?
not to. No.
What a concept.
Well, see, the thing is, like, my humor's not good for business. My humor's bad for business. Like if the internet knew who I really was, like I'd be on a list somewhere. So it's like, if I were to post things I thought were funny, I'd get a really weird niche of followers that like, I don't even want to fuck with people that have the same sense of humor as me.
Yeah, honestly fair. Same here. I don't think I can even open up my reels in public anymore. Like,
Oh, yo, yours are top tier. See, all right, maybe I can fuck with people with the same sense of humor as me.
yeah, but not good for business. Probably not. We're not
No.
posting that shit on our stories.
Right, exactly. And that's an important distinction to make. Like I can provide value in a way, but I can also deter a lot of people if I am myself.
Yeah. I know if I open up my reels right now, there's 1,000% going to be a matador.
Yo, I saw the craziest reel. This dude ran head on at a bull and he tried to jump over it, went face to face. Probably got flipped like 25 feet in the air and just ragdolled.
Dude, yeah. Between what I send you and having a Guatemalan wife, it's just like I open up my reels and there's a Hispanic dude getting ran over by a bull like 9 times out of 10.
That's wild. Yeah. No, I think you can learn a lot about someone from their explore page.
Dude. Oh, dude.
Oh,
It's got sidetracked so fast.
I know. That's where I want to go with this podcast. But
Yeah.
okay, so when it comes to, I guess, content creation, like thinking not necessarily, you're speaking to one person, but you're speaking to an audience of people that you can relate to. That's kind of the core of what that is to me. I think a lot of people, this is another kind of point of like the theory versus application. I think a lot of people speak to the theory of it, right? It's the people that only exist online. They speak to the theory of like, in perfect scenario, this is what you should do. And that was like kind of a meme in itself for a bit in the not so distant past, is like the optimal crew is like, you need this degree of shoulder flexion, and you need your pump handle to be on your rectum and whatever, and some dumb shit like that. That doesn't take into account application, right? And I think that's what I've found. Like, I'll say this openly, is like my niche, or like my content creation strategy on the internet is like, I look at one metric, and that's saves. I like how many people are saving this, because I want to make something that like someone's going to take. They're like, oh fuck, like I could use that. And they save it and they do it in their workout later. It's like, I don't care, if you like this or like whatever, if it's entertaining, or if you put a fire emoji in the comments. Like, I want it to be something that someone's going to take in the gym and they're going to actually do in their workout. And that's my entire content creation strategy. 100% transparency. It's like, I'm going to make something that I want someone to be able to use, because that's what it is. Like, if it doesn't end up on the gym floor, it's garbage.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's even like kind of what I've gotten into. I think even too, from like a organizational standpoint, like if you wanted to create content, you could create 3 or 4 pieces from the same idea. You can make a video of you talking about the theory. You can make a video of you in the gym doing it. And you can make a video of you talking about when it's actually not practical to do that. And like what's an example of where like this theory actually doesn't turn out in practice. And then it's like, now you just take the same idea and you made 3 different posts out of it. So if you do, I don't know, think 5 topics a month, that's 25 posts. You're basically posting every day. Sorry, math is not math out. 5 times 3, 15. Okay, what is that? I don't know, 4 a week, something like that. There you go. That's all you need is 5 topics a month.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. And the thing that I love about that is it appeases both the application and the theory side of things, is that it's giving full context around an entire idea, right? Which is the thing that's missing on like, Instagram. I'm sure there are people on TikTok that look at things and maybe have some sort of brain processing power, maybe not. But the idea there is that like someone will try something that's like ridiculous and it's something they'll never do again, but maybe it accomplished a task for them in that moment. I can't even think of something, but it's like some dumb exercise. I'll think of one. Corey shows me these all the time, because like bodybuilding chicks are retarded.
Dude,
not her. She's brilliant and I love her very much, but other ones are retarded.
Yes.
But it was a girl doing a split squat on a Smith machine, and she took like one of the hip circle booty bands and she gave herself like a pirate peg leg. She put it around her thigh and her ankle on her rear foot, so it was like her heel was banded towards her ass, like instead of just using like a bench for a rear foot elevated split squat. That's really fucking dumb, and it serves no purpose. But like, I'm sure in that moment that person thought like, oh, this is a good way to do, or not even a good way, this is a way to do this. And then they post it on Instagram and they're like, oh, new cool way to do X, Y, and Z that no one will ever use, no one ever needs to use. And that's something that like, maybe there's a context around that made that appropriate in that situation. I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Dude,
but
one thing I can't hate on is the creativity. Like, I see some of the most creative shit. I'm pretty sure when my podcast with her comes out, I'm going to get a cease and desist letter from a certain company. But like, there's a few in particular that like, no, there's a few in particular that I'm just like, I see the most retarded shit all the time, but like, I almost don't hate it because it's creative and it's always like changing. I'm like, I never would have thought of that in a million years. Like, it's clearly not doing anything, but like, right. if I was paying for a program and I got that, I'd be like, oh, this is cool as fuck. You're telling me this works? Yeah, okay, I'll believe you,
Well, that's the thing. It's like, there is a shock value to it, and there is probably and I won't even say probably, because I won't diminish it. There is a very limited use case for things like that are creative, right? The thing is, the way it gets propagated on the internet is someone does something that's different. They think, this is different. Like, people will like this on Instagram. They post it on Instagram, like, good leg workout, you should try it. But there's no context to that. Like, it's not a good workout. It's just something different and creative that you're proud of, which is fine. Like, that is totally fine. I agree. Like, we need that. We need to push the creativity in all directions. But the context isn't there. It's like, oh, like, maybe that's a good variation for someone with, I don't know, L5 neuralgia and they have drop foot and they can't put weight in their back foot against a bench in a rear foot elevated split squat. Yeah, that would be really good for them because then they don't have to worry about it. But for someone with 2 working feet in a young, healthy adult, just put your back foot on a fucking bench and shut up. Stay off the Instagrams for today. Like, that's it. I don't know. So anyways, I appreciate that strategy that you're highlighting because it provides full context around the idea. And the thing that never happens on the internet, and this is where like all these like men's health over 40 crowd, like people that just want to seem smart live, because there's no exclusion criteria and there's no repercussions for any of this stuff when you work on the internet. So it's like, I can tell you to take Ozempic and Tren and like go do retarded split squats and I don't know, animal flow, go crawl on the ground and like eat tree bark for a week and you're gonna be great.
Yeah, brace your core on the airplane so you don't blow your back out.
Exactly.
That's literally in a book right now.
Is it a book I made to print? Wow.
Yeah. It's a book that has sold a lot of copies.
I don't know what book that is. You can tell me later, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. And the thing is, like, whether it's on the internet, whether it's a book in print, whether, you know, this all exists in the free market. And we all know very well that good information isn't sexy. Like, and I'm not saying that research is the gold standard, but it kind of is when it comes to this stuff. Like, there's a blend between research and experience and application and patient values that makes something that combination of things would be the gold standard of application. Yes, I understand that. But like when it comes to literature around this thing, there's a lot of people. I'm not going to name names because a lot of them have been on this podcast, irrespective of if I brought them on or not. But there's like a lot of people in the industry that get a lot of credibility because they dig their heels around certain ideas, and they may be completely wrong. They may be very right, but they don't know why that is. But the thing is, it's not necessarily about being right or having valuable information. It's about what you can sell in this industry, in this country, in this world. It's what is profitable. And that's the message that you're going to get sold because it solves the problem you want it to solve. How many people eat a carnivore diet because Joe Rogan sells the carnivore diet, whether he is, directly profiting off of it or not? But there's a lot of retarded people out there that don't care if it's right or wrong. They just want to eat bacon and ribeye. And I sympathize with that because that's all I want to fucking eat too. But it's wrong. It's objectively wrong because of physiology. So that's the hard part for me about all of this. Is it's not about being right. It's about portraying more right information in a way that also appeases people's need for entertainment and the whole popularity contest aspect of it that the internet is like no one cares if you're right. They care if it's engaging.
Yeah.
It's retarded.
That's the internet, man.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
The internet.
Some days I almost hope somebody calls me on some shit and I am wrong. I've even been saying that with these like polls I've been posting. Like one of these days I know I'm going to post something and I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah.
And someone else is going to teach me, which is sick. That's what I hope for,
Yeah.
But
I've been wrong plenty of times.
I'm not going to sell programs being wrong online all the time, No one likes that.
And that's the thing. It's just like, it's kind of like the creativity thing. It's kind of how we started this conversation. Okay, we have in-person reps. Great. We've failed in safe environments. You know a really safe environment to fail? Instagram. Because it's fucking Instagram. There's way more harmful information out there that people are willingly putting out there and profiting off of that is wrong than you or I will ever put out there and be wrong about. Has to objectively be true. So, and the thing about it is there's a bunch of fucking theory nerds on the internet that if I say something wrong, I've had people like, have you ever had someone remix your reels?
I've never been remixed.
Ooh. So
I've had at Charles Poliquin something, like comment on my stuff before and tell me, well, you should look at this because Charles Poliquin did this. You're wrong.
Okay.
Anyways, no, please tell me how you got remixed.
No, I got remixed because I made a reel about like knee problems not being knee problems, and I knowingly exaggerated saying the knee is a hinge joint and it only flexes and extends, which is technically not wrong, but it's technically not 100% right because yes, the tibia does rotate. We have tibial rotation as part of knee flexion and extension. And someone remixed it and just like flamed me on that. So you know what I did? Didn't acknowledge it. And then I made a post about tibial rotation.
Yeah,
that's all I did.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Because even though, yes, maybe I wasn't and it's some fucking nerd because no one knows that isn't a nerd. And the application, and this is like the part that is important to me, the application, independent of the vernacular, the terminology, like the semantics of that post would be unchanged and beneficial for the end user regardless. So it's like, there's no harm in me being, yes, maybe technically wrong because some application nerd with no clients living in his mom's basement doesn't like the words that I used. He can go suck a dick and I'll go make money getting people better is what I'll do. And that's it. Like, that's the repercussion of me being wrong is that this guy's still going to be a loser and I'm still going to make money getting people better.
Now that you say this, I didn't get remixed. Probably even worse, I had somebody screenshot a thread that I made about how deloads were dumb, and they posted it in the RP Facebook group that has like probably tens of thousands of people in it. And then Mike Israetel commented on it and called me like a retard.
Yo, that's better.
I
would take that.
I was laughing because like some kid was like tweeting back at me talking shit, and I was like, the thing is, like, it wasn't just it was like a thread. Like I did like 2 or 3 follow-ups to it where I explained the context, and like they were just arguing the first. Like they only screenshotted the top one, and like what they were saying is like what I covered in the next 2, and I was like, this is a semantical argument because you guys don't understand that we're saying the same thing.
Right.
It's like I didn't even care. I thought that was hilarious. And I think Mike's sick. I love Mike's videos, but I'm like, guys, really? Like, you're gonna flame me? Just like read what I said. It's a semantical argument. Like, we're saying the same thing, you fucking idiot. Like, we're saying the exact same thing.
That's the funniest part for me because they, in that entire situation, are proving how retarded they are. That they don't read context. They just hyperfixate on the part of it that they didn't like, and they get emotional, and then they throw a tantrum about it.
Yeah, at least the kid did apologize to me. He apologized, and then the kid apologized to me, and then explained that he's a little bit on the spectrum. Like, literally told me that. So I was
Great.
like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
that's very autistic behavior.
It checks out.
Yo, that's wild. That's wild. People can just apologize and say they're autistic nowadays.
Yeah, maybe it's real. Maybe it's an excuse. I don't know. Now I'm just waiting for the YouTube algorithm to heat up because I've heard YouTube's the worst. Like, YouTube apparently breeds like the worst creatures possible.
Oh yeah, for sure. YouTube comments are ruthless, man. They're so
You guys get
anonymous.
any on here? Any RX radio comments? You guys are fucking retards.
I try and stay as much off the internet as possible. But yes, I'm sure there's a lot of people that think I'm very retarded on the internet. And you know what? I don't fucking care because I am. I very much am. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. The internet's a wild place.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to be a part of, though.
It's entertaining. That's for sure. It's definitely entertaining. I just want to partake by watching blackjack reels. That's my new thing. Is I just watch people play blackjack, and it makes me want to go to the casino until I actually do.
It's a dangerous game, man.
It is. It is, man. Because, like, the odds of blackjack in person are like, it's slightly less than 50-50. I think it's like 49.5% or something for the player and like 50.5 for the house. But the thing is, when you watch reels on Instagram, you would think people are just playing $20,000 hands and doubling down and winning and like making 100 grand in 14 seconds. It's like, wow,
Rest assured, they're not.
I should go play
promise you they're losing money.
I should for sure go play blackjack. Let me take all my money out of the bank and go to the casino and make more money.
Yeah, let me know how that goes. I only play Baccarat now because Baccarat, I think, has the highest or the lowest house odds.
All right. Yeah, we'll play Baccarat next time we're together.
Yeah, next time I see you in Vegas or somewhere.
You let me know when.
We'll get a casino trip in the cards. Call it a bachelor party. I don't know.
I'm in. Yeah, it's only gonna get more degenerate from here, so I think we should.
Yeah, we should definitely wrap it up before we start talking about matadors getting ran over with mariachi bands in the background.
I'll send you some memes after this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if I ever did a full intro, but Nick Ridpath, you could find him. He's in the collective here at Prescript. If people want to reach out to you for online coaching, he's in the DMV area. If you guys are looking for in-person coaching, where could they find you, Ridpath?
Yeah, first off, join the collective. That's where you're going to get the most of me. I do a Tuesday lab and I do a Thursday athletic development lab. So you get to see me for 2 full hours a week. Ask me questions on any courses, on your own training, weird stuff you see online like we just talked about, breaking down memes, case studies, whatever it is. It's a fun time. So join the collective. Other than that, Instagram, YouTube, it's at Nick Ridpath _. Then yeah, I work at a DMV Iron in Alexandria. So if you're in the DMV, hit me up, come train. I'd love to connect with any of you guys.